After 40, your body starts playing a silent trick on you. Every single year, you lose a little bit of the strength and speed that keep you independent, and it happens so slowly you barely notice it, until one day you realize you're getting winded on the stairs or struggling with the groceries. This isn't just about getting older or losing your beach body. It's a quiet decline that drains your energy and puts your future freedom at risk. I used to think feeling frail was just an unavoidable part of aging, but I've realized that muscle is actually a biological retirement fund. The more we invest now, the more independence we have later. I'm here to tell you that being weak is not a natural part of aging, and you don't have to accept it. I've spent years figuring out how to flip the switch from breaking down to building up, and today I'm sharing the exact protocol I use to stay powerful well into my 80s and 90s. We're going to cover exactly how to eat and train to ensure you never lose your physical edge. I stopped just working out and started signaling my body to grow, and I want to show you how to do the same. Before we dive into the steps, I want to know who is with me on this journey. Drop a comment below and tell me where in the world you're watching from. I love seeing how far this community reaches. If you're ready to take control and build a body that lasts a lifetime, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're building a blueprint for a strong future, and I don't want you to miss a single step. To truly understand why your body feels different as the years go by, we have to look at a silent crisis that most people don't realize is happening until it's too late. Think of your muscles as the primary battery for your physical health. As you age, that battery naturally starts to leak power and lose its capacity. This isn't just about losing the tone in your arms or legs. It is a steady decline where your muscle fibers literally begin to shrink and vanish. I've looked at the data, and the reality is that muscle is your greatest insurance policy against aging. When you lose it, you aren't just getting softer, you are losing the very engine that keeps your energy up and your metabolism firing at a high level. For most of us, this crisis feels invisible because the number on the scale might not even change. You might stay the same weight, but underneath the surface, your healthy muscle is being replaced by fat, a process I like to call internal aging. This shift is dangerous because muscle acts like a massive sponge that soaks up sugar and keeps your body in balance. Without it, your risk for health issues skyrockets, and your bones lose the structural support they need to stay strong. In the longevity community, we view this muscle loss as the primary driver of becoming frail. If you don't actively fight to keep your muscle now, you are essentially letting your physical independence slip away a little more every single year. From a high-performance perspective, managing this decline is about shifting from just staying active to a defense mindset. You can no longer afford to just go for a casual walk. You have to send a loud, clear signal to your body that this muscle is required for your survival. If you ignore this crisis, the long-term cost is your quality of life. It's the difference between being a vibrant, mobile 80-year-old and someone who is sidelined by the fear of a fall. By treating your muscle as a vital organ that needs protection, you can start using the right protocols to stay strong, ensuring your biological battery stays fully charged for decades to come. I used to think that staying active, like going for long walks or light jogs, was enough to keep me healthy as the years went by. But I had to face a hard truth. While cardio is great for your heart, it does almost nothing to stop your muscles from wasting away. To truly protect my physical future, I realized that resistance training is the first non-negotiable rule. Think of lifting weights as a use it or lose it contract with your body. If you don't give your muscles a reason to stick around by challenging them with tension, your body will naturally let that tissue fade away to save energy. I stopped looking at the gym as just a place to burn calories and started seeing it as the place where I fight to keep my independence. The magic happens when you consistently challenge yourself to do a little bit more than you did before. For the signal to be loud enough to wake up your muscles, you can't just go through the motions with the same light weights every week. You have to gradually increase the challenge. I make sure that over time I'm adding a bit more weight, doing an extra repetition, or slowing down my movements to keep the pressure on. This constant healthy stress tells my body that it needs to stay dense and strong to handle the load. It's about proving to your biology that you are still a high-performance machine that requires power, not just a passenger on the aging train. What's even more incredible is how this type of training protects more than just your muscles. It's like armor for your entire frame. When I lift weights, the tension on my muscles actually pulls on my bones, signaling them to become thicker and more resilient. This is the ultimate insurance policy because it creates a body that can handle a trip or a stumble without the fear of a serious injury. By prioritizing resistance training at least 3 times a week, I'm not just building a physique, I'm building a fortress. I'm ensuring that at 80 or 90, I'm the one moving with confidence and strength while the rest of the world is slowing down. One of the biggest frustrations I faced as I got older was realizing that the same workouts and meals that used to work in my 20s just weren't cutting it anymore. This happens because of a hurdle called anabolic resistance. Essentially, as we age, our muscles become hard of hearing. They stop responding to the normal signals that tell them to grow and repair after a workout or a meal. It's like trying to start a fire with damp wood. The spark is there, but the flame just won't catch. If you don't learn how to overcome this resistance, you can spend hours in the gym and eat all the right things without ever seeing the physical results you're working so hard for. To beat this, I had to stop exercising and start signaling. When you have anabolic resistance, your body needs a much louder message to trigger muscle growth. This means you can't just go through the motions with light weights. You have to create enough tension and challenge to force those stubborn muscle fibers to pay attention. I focus on lifting with intent and pushing close to my limits because that intensity is what wakes up the internal machinery. By turning up the volume of the workout, you override the resistance and prove to your body that keeping this muscle is a matter of survival, not just an option. The second half of this battle happens in the kitchen. Because an aging body is less efficient at processing protein, the old standard servings aren't enough to trigger a growth response anymore. I learned that I have to hit a specific growth threshold with every single meal to get the job done. This isn't about eating more food overall. It's about being strategic with your protein timing and quality to ensure your muscles actually receive the message to rebuild. When you combine high-intensity signaling with the right nutritional punch, you break through that wall of resistance and start building a body that stays strong and resilient for the long haul. Once I understood that my body was becoming resistant to growth signals, I realized I had to change the way I looked at my plate. This led me to the 30-gram protein rule, which is my second non-negotiable for staying strong. When we're younger, our bodies are so naturally tuned for growth that even a small snack can trigger muscle repair. But as we get older, we need a much larger dose of protein in a single sitting just to flip the switch that tells our muscles to rebuild. Think of it like a light switch that requires a certain amount of pressure to turn on. If you only apply a little bit of pressure, the light stays off, and your body stays in a state of breakdown. By hitting at least 30 to 40 grams of high-quality protein in one meal, you finally provide enough force to turn that light on. I stopped grazing on small amounts of protein throughout the day because I realized it was actually counterproductive. If you eat 10 grams here and 15 grams there, you never hit that critical threshold, meaning your muscles never get the signal to grow, even though you're consuming the calories. I now treat every meal as a strategic opportunity to hit that 30-gram minimum. This shift was a game changer for my energy and recovery. By focusing on protein-centric meals, I'm ensuring that my body isn't just digesting food, but is actually using those building blocks to repair the wear and tear from my workouts and protect my physical foundation. The quality of that protein is just as important as the amount. To make this rule work, I prioritize complete proteins that are packed with the specific nutrients that act as the primary trigger for growth. Whether it's lean steak, wild-caught fish, or a high-quality shake, the goal is to get those essential building blocks into the bloodstream all at once. When you hit that 30-gram mark with the right nutrients, you aren't just eating, you're telling your metabolism to stay in a building phase. It's one of the simplest yet most powerful habits you can adopt to ensure your muscles stay dense, strong, and functional for decades to come. If protein is the fuel for your muscle-building engine, then leucine is the key that actually turns the ignition. I realized that I could eat a massive amount of protein, but if I didn't have enough of this specific trigger nutrient, my body would just sit in neutral. Think of leucine as a master switch for your cells. In a younger body, this switch is incredibly sensitive, but as we age, it tends to get stuck in the off position. To unstick it, you need to reach a specific concentration in your blood that signals to your brain that it's finally time to stop breaking down muscle and start building it back up. For those of us over 40, that trigger point is usually a specific amount that you need to hit in a single sitting. I stopped just looking at total protein grams and started looking at the quality of those grams. If I'm eating a lower quality protein source, I might be getting the calories, but I'm missing the leucine punch needed to activate my growth pathways. This is why I prioritize leucine-rich sources like eggs, dairy, or high-quality meats. By making sure I hit that specific mark, I'm essentially forcing my body to listen to the muscle-building signal that it would otherwise ignore. Integrating this into my daily life was a massive turning point for my physical performance. I now look at leucine as a precision tool for staying strong. If I'm having a lighter meal, I might add a high-quality supplement or choose a specific protein blend just to ensure that growth switch stays flipped. It's a small technical detail, but it's the difference between seeing your hard work pay off or just spinning your wheels. By prioritizing this master switch, you ensure that every bite you eat is working for your future self, keeping you resilient and capable of taking on whatever life throws at you. I used to think that the goal of a workout was just to get tired or break a sweat, but I eventually learned that the real secret to keeping your muscle is something called mechanical tension. This is my third non-negotiable rule. Think of your muscle fibers like a group of workers. If the job is too easy, they'll stop showing up. Mechanical tension is the heavy lifting that happens when you force those fibers to stretch and pull against a significant weight. It's the physical stress of the weight actually trying to stretch the muscle while the muscle fights back to shorten. I stopped chasing the burn and started focusing on making sure my muscles were actually feeling the physical strain of the load. To make this work as we age, I follow a principle called progressive challenge. Your body is incredibly smart. If you lift the same 10-pound weight every week for a year, your body eventually decides it has enough muscle to do that job and stops building more. To keep the signal for growth alive, I have to constantly prove to my biology that the world is getting heavier. This doesn't mean I'm trying to break world records every day. It just means I'm always looking to add one more pound, one more repetition, or even just a little more control to the movement. This constant evolving tension is what forces your body to keep its physical armor thick and strong. The reason this is so vital for our long-term independence is that mechanical tension is the only language your muscles truly speak. You can eat all the protein in the world, but without the physical pull of tension, your body won't see a reason to use that protein to build muscle. I treat every set in the gym as a conversation with my future self. By creating high levels of tension through a full range of motion, I'm sending a loud, clear message. We need this strength to survive. This is how you build a body that isn't just for show, but a body that is structurally sound and ready to handle the demands of real life for decades to come. One of the biggest mistakes I made early on was focusing only on the lifting part of the exercise and rushing through the way back down. I eventually learned that the secret to high-performance muscle growth isn't just in the push, it's in the slow lowering phase, often called eccentric loading. Think of it like this. Your muscles are actually much stronger when they are lengthening under tension than when they are shortening. When you slowly lower a weight, let's say for a count of 3 or 4 seconds, you are creating the specific signals that act as a massive growth alarm for your body. I stopped letting gravity do the work and started owning the entire movement, which completely changed how my body responded to training. For those of us over 40, this technique is a game changer because it provides more bang for your buck without needing to use dangerously heavy weights that might stress your joints. Scientific research suggests that this lowering phase is responsible for a huge portion of the strength and size gains we see in the gym. By slowing down the return to the starting position, you are increasing the time under tension, which sends a loud, clear signal to your brain to repair and reinforce your tissues. I now view the way I lower the weight as the most productive part of my workout. It's the part that actually forces my aging muscle fibers to adapt and stay resilient. Beyond just building muscle, This slow and controlled approach is like armor plating your body for the long haul. As we get older, our connective tissues can become more brittle, making us more prone to injury. By practicing slow lowering, I'm not just making my muscles bigger, I'm making my entire structural system more durable and elastic. This is the ultimate longevity hack because it builds the kind of functional strength that protects you in the real world, like when you're slowly setting down a heavy box or steadying yourself during a stumble. It's about building a body that is as tough as it is strong, ensuring you stay active and injury-free for decades to come. To truly protect your future, you have to address a silent threat that often goes unnoticed: chronic inflammation, or what experts call inflammaging.
Imagine your body has a built-in fire department meant to put out temporary fires, like a muscle strain or a cold. But as we get older, that fire department never goes home. Instead, a low-grade, smoldering fire stays active throughout your entire system. This constant state of alert is devastating for your muscles because it creates a toxic environment where your body is so busy fighting invisible fires that it stops investing in repair and growth. If you don't cool this internal heat, all your hard work in the gym is essentially being burned away before it can turn into lasting strength. The reason this matters so much for muscle preservation is that chronic inflammation actively interferes with the building signals we've been talking about. When your inflammation levels are high, your body produces specific chemicals that act like a demolition crew, breaking down muscle proteins faster than you can replace them.
I started looking at my diet and lifestyle through this lens, realizing that things like processed sugars and constant stress were adding fuel to that internal fire every single day. By shifting to an anti-inflammatory way of living, prioritizing high-quality healthy fats and gut health, I was able to shut down the demolition crew and finally give my muscles the peace and quiet they needed to actually grow and recover. In the world of high-performance aging, we know that you can't build a masterpiece in a room that's on fire. Managing inflammation is about clearing the path so your nutrition and training can actually do their jobs. I now treat my recovery as seriously as my training, using tools like proper hydration and anti-inflammatory nutrients to keep my systemic temperature low. When you master your inflammatory response, you aren't just protecting your muscles, you're protecting your brain, your heart, and your joints from the wear and tear of time. It is the ultimate secret to staying physically sharp and resilient, ensuring your body feels as young on the inside as you're training it to look on the outside. Building a body that lasts isn't about chasing perfection or trying to look like a professional athlete. It's about maintaining the physical freedom to live life on your own terms. I stopped looking at my health in short-term bursts. Every time I hit my protein goals or choose a challenging workout over a sedentary afternoon, I'm making a deposit into a long-term account. This protocol is designed to ensure that when you reach your 80s and 90s, you still have the strength to travel, play with your grandkids, and move through the world with confidence. Muscle is the foundation of that independence, and it is never too late to start protecting it.
The strategies we've discussed today, overcoming the body's resistance to growth, prioritizing the right nutrients, and managing internal stress, are practical tools you can start using right now. You don't need a complicated setup or a professional coach to make progress. You just need the consistency to send the right signals to your body every day. I've found that the most successful people in this community are the ones who take one small piece of this protocol and master it before moving to the next. By treating your physical health as a lifelong project, you move away from the fear of aging and toward a future where you remain the capable, vibrant person you are today. I'm curious to hear which part of this protocol you're going to implement first. Is it hitting that 30-gram protein mark, or finally getting back to the weights to challenge your muscles? Leave a comment below and let me know your plan. If you found this breakdown helpful and you're ready to take a practical approach to your longevity, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We are constantly exploring ways to stay strong and capable, and I want to make sure you have every tool you need for the long haul. Let's build a body that lasts together.